All right, here we go. Should you start a Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channel? So I figured this would be near and dear
Look
to
at
our
us.
hearts.
No.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah, can you see what happens? Yeah,
Get out while you can.
I'm really 19 years old. It's just but a couple years of doing this. It's just
I had a full head of hair, and then I found YouTube.
Hey everyone, it's Mark from Dungeon Class. Today we have another one of our Dungeon Master Roundtables. We have Aviad from Beyond the Screen, Wally DM from Wally DM Channel, and Mr. Fred Wheeler from How to D&D. He's with us here, and we're going to be talking about, should you start a D&D YouTube channel? So I noticed after everyone was locked down that a lot of people sat around and were kind of bored possibly and looking for something to do. And a cajillion people started podcasts, and maybe only a trillion people started a D&D YouTube channel. And I just, we're like, that's great. Honestly, I'm not one that think this is a big pie and we all have slices and whatever. Everything, it floats the whole group. So more power, more people, that's fine. I'm thinking in terms of, if you're thinking about it, kind of give people an idea what that means. So I would say my advice is if you love the channel and you have an angle to give and you have something to share and that you think you can have some worthwhile things to share with the world, then yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good thing. But I also would say it is work. It's going to take some time and all that. So think about the time commitment as what I would suggest. So Avia, what do you think? Should a person start one, or you're like, heck no, I'm not doing this anymore. See you. This is my last episode. No.
Goodbye, farewell. My last appearance on the internet. I think that people should absolutely do it. But like many things in life, it's very important to set some expectations when you go for it, especially if people think about making money. Making money on YouTube is very unlikely. So if that's a big motivation for you for starting, you may want to look at some other options. But if you do go for it, there are a few tips that I can also give. And that first, done is better than perfect. Your quality will get better with time. Your phone is probably good enough. And if you want to invest in anything, start with audio. And just have fun, because if you're not having fun doing it, what are you even doing?
Yeah. Very good. Very good points. Love it. Absolutely. All right. So, Wally DM, what do you think?
I would always advise people, if it's something you're interested in, try it. It's not just with being a YouTuber. If you like to write, get a blog and start writing. If you want to start a YouTube channel for D&D, Magic the Gathering, cooking, cleaning your garage, whatever you want to focus on, do it. You can grab a phone. Most phones can do fairly decent video, and start out that way and find out if you like it. And as previously discussed, this is a second hobby. If you are a YouTuber, you're not playing D&D, you are in hobby number 2. Because even though we talk about D&D, we're not playing. We're not. A lot of times, we're not preparing for our next game if we're a dungeon master. So that's going to take into your time. Like myself, I have a lot of hobbies. My wife and I like to do a lot of things together. We do quite a few things separately, and I consider my YouTube channel as a separate hobby, and it does take up a chunk of my time. Each video that I make takes approximately 6 to 8 hours. And on top of that, I work a 40-hour-a-week job. I like to play D&D once a week. I like to disc golf. I like to drink beer. I like to play Magic the Gathering. My wife and I like to travel, so you can see where that goes. So if this is something that you're interested in, give it a try. All it takes is to record a video, put it up on YouTube, and see what happens. If you want to write an article, put it on a blog, see what happens. You don't want to go through life and through your career playing D&D or DMing D&D and be like, I should have done that before. Try it, find out if you like it. If you don't like it, that's fine, and you can move on to the next. And I don't think I have anything funny to say this time, but that's about it. So join us. Come to YouTube.
There's nothing funny about YouTube.
No, it's nothing funny. It's all serious stuff here, and come on, do it. Everyone's doing it. Yeah. All right. So, Fred, what do you think? And you've been doing this a long time, so you should know. You should be the expert on this question.
Well, actually, that's not true. I think me and Wally have been doing it for about the same length of time. That's what I remember anyway.
Is it?
Pretty sure.
Right.
About the same length of time. Yeah. For me, I would say. Yeah. That's not true. But okay. Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channel. Should you make a Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channel? I would say no. I don't think you should make a Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channel because there's so much competition. We don't need any more competition. Thank you very much. Go do something else. The reality is. Well, look, it's not like it was when I started. Right. Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channels, there weren't that many. Okay, so it was possible to make stuff that other people hadn't seen. Right, so Wally did puzzles, and he'd show you. You wouldn't just talk about it because a lot of people are like, it's a head, it talks. Oh, good, we know he can move his mouth around, but that's all he does. But when you actually show people stuff, that's why Wally's stuff does as well as it does, and why he does a lot of puzzles. But here's the thing, right? You would be surprised. Most of the big channels, they make the same thing over and over again. And it's usually telling dungeon masters they're doing something bad. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to players, it's trying to get them ways of loopholes in the game that they can exploit. Those are the key things. Character builds that give them loopholes. Those are the driving forces for Dungeons and Dragons on the YouTube platform. So for you to break in and do this, you really need to want to do it. And like a lot of people have already said, if you think you're going to make money, some people do this and they do really well. But the fact is, if the fact that they're doing really well on YouTube, if they went and did something else, they'd probably do even better. Because YouTube is hard to make money on. Even if you do Patreon, even if you have products that you try to make and sell, even if you've got merchandise, all of that sort of stuff, it is extremely difficult to do. And to actually break into a market like right now, I am subscribed to so many Dungeons and Dragons YouTube channels, of which I watch very few of because it's the same thing I've seen before. So I would suggest to you that if you're thinking of trying to make it rich quick, forget about it and go do something else. What I would say is that making up a YouTube channel to sort of get yourself out there might actually be quite smart, because I wouldn't imagine that this pandemic is over. I think we are going to see a lot of people having to work from home, and actually it doesn't have to be YouTube. I think an internet-based business is probably a very smart idea rather than an in-person business. So if you're wanting to make a business and trying to do something that you kind of like doing, maybe that would work. I would also say that to get noticed, you have to find a hole in the market, which is very hard to do right now for Dungeons and Dragons. Right. If you can't find a hole in the market, it's very hard to actually show up. And if you are old, like myself, if you're in your 40s and 50s, you're the wrong demographic. Seriously, it's the 20s and 30s. That's where no, seriously, I mean, that's where the audience is. That's where they are. Those are the people who are consuming the vast majority of the video content. All of my friends who are in their 40s and 50s, they don't watch any of my YouTube channel videos or anybody else's. They couldn't care less. They don't even bother with any of that sort of stuff. They're like, what are they going to tell me that I don't already know? So you really need to be wanting to do it to actually do it, because it takes a long time and you may never get exactly where you want to be, but you might be surprised if you're, just considering it a hobby. Because I've done this full time, and I can assure you, because I was involved in martial arts. I did that as a job. It wasn't fun once it became a job.
Yeah.
One of my hobbies was carpentry and making stuff with wood. I did it as a job. I taught it. I actually loved doing it. But I stopped doing it as a hobby once it became a job. So when you make your hobby your job, you run the risk of it no longer being that much fun, because there are some horrible realities about running a business.
Yeah.
And so you have to be very sure.
Very good. Very good points all around. Great advice from everybody. I will say there's one thing that I would say most definitely is a blessing from having a YouTube channel, D&D YouTube channel, is getting to meet cool guys like this. So the nice thing is if you reach out and collaborate with other channels, you get to see meet these neat people and get to know them and add to your friends list. And that's definitely a good thing. So that will say that is one awesome part you can't really put a dollar amount on. I will say that I was vastly disappointed though when I thought I was going to get a Maserati from doing a YouTube D&D channel. So those AdSense checks are woefully smaller than I thought they would be. So I'm really behind on those Maserati payments right now. So that's been a problem. No, in all seriousness, good points. It is a lot of work. It is not going to be super lucrative, and it's definitely not a get rich quick scheme. But you will meet a lot of cool things. And I will say the fans that we have, the people that stick by us and talk to us and chat and come in our live streams and all, or they may be small, but we get to know them, and that's really a really great part of it. So there are some benefits of doing this that you may not even expect. I haven't really expected the depths of friendship from some of our listeners or viewers that I didn't think would come about. And I never expected to get to know other D&D YouTubers and get to know them and count them as friends. So getting all serious and stuff on here on Dungeon Class. Thank you everyone that came and talked about this. This is a pretty serious topic, but hopefully someone is watching, if they're thinking about doing it, they would give them some things to think about. I'd like to thank Aviad here from Beyond the Screen.
Mark,
yes.
if I can just add one more thing too.
Yes, you can, Wally.
If you are considering starting a YouTube channel and you have more questions, reach out. Post a comment below and say, hey, I'd like to, I'm really serious about doing this. Can I ask you a few questions? Any one of us would definitely be able to help between the hours of 5:30 and 6 o'clock Central Daylight.
And that is another benefit. This community is very, very supportive of each other.
Yes.
And that's a big surprise. You kind of feel like you think that everyone's going to be like, oh, I'm not helping you. You're the competition. It's the opposite of that. So very good point, Wally. Appreciate that. Thank you, Aviad from Beyond the Screen. Thanks for coming. And everybody needs to go check him out. He's got a great channel going. He's going kind of quick and all. He's getting a good following. He's got some great videos. Definitely check him out. Wally DM, again, he's Mr. Puzzle Guy. If you need puzzles for your game, he's the man. I don't know of anyone else that does the puzzle stuff like he does. And like Fred says, he shows you how to do it. And the visuals really, really does matter. And it also, you got to pick up his book. Honestly, that's if you don't have his book, go check out his channel, get his book. I mean, what's wrong with you? You gotta do that. I mean, if you're gonna have puzzles, you gotta have his book. So, and then Mr. Fred from How to D&D, always bringing the love, but really coming with some good, solid advice here. I appreciate that. And if you want anything, if there's anything in the vast catalog of ideas, if you look in the back of the Dungeon Master's Guide and you're like, I want to know more about that, go check out Fred's channel. He probably has a video about that. He's got it's like 30,000 videos or something over there, something like that. So he's quite prolific in the videos. So very good stuff. Thank you guys. Thanks for everybody. And with that, class dismissed.